And where it is right now took on a very interested and we could say mutated form, but really it's more of a super form, of an advanced form. And I don't want to get this confused with the postmodern variant of this argument. So Heidegger says that technology is made by man, it's produced by man. But one day it will outgrow man, and it will then therefore control him. And although the consequences and the effect are occurring in that way, and that is true, the characteristic of what you call technology, or what that thing that outgrew humans, the characteristics of that is still put into question and is not answered by the postmodernist. Right now, we see evidently, but still finitely, still primitively, the actual state and behavior and condition, or as Hegel calls it, the superconsciousness, the Geist, of the spirit, because everything has a spirit in the sense that it has an activity and a behavior. Because again, the activity is not going nowhere, it's always going somewhere. It's always being determined with a particular purpose in mind. It's always being determined in a particular way for a particular purpose. And the reason why it's because it's always connected to an observer. If we say technology outgrew man, it just developed a lot, but it didn't outgrow anybody. It's being manipulated and used and determined in a certain way. And who determines that has the power to make every single person subordinate to that process, or disclose within the determination, disclose within where it's heading, and necessarily being connected to the duration towards that end, for good or bad. I'm not making any normative claims here at this point. I'm just providing a purely descriptive analysis of what's occurring in our present day of technology. I'm talking about AI, if you didn't catch with me yet. AI, wake up, artificial intelligence. It's not very artificial, okay? It's the only thing artificial about it is its consequence. It's the form it takes, the physical material form it takes. But it has a more dimensionally deeper nature to its physical structure, the artificial structure of matter, and its interaction with its organic causal source. And so what's happening right now is we developed computing power, okay? Computing power has been developed, let's say, finally for the last 100 years. So it's a very good age to begin its infancy. And so what is its infancy? What it is in its infant state? Well, it's an infant state. It's the harnessing of electrical currents through chemical reactions in batteries, and these chemical reactions ultimately direct an electrical current, an electrical source, okay, and it directs that for specific functions of some kind of organism. And I'm using the word organism very loosely, both biological and artificial, okay? Actually, the definition of the word natural, derived from the ancient Greeks, is that it is a process entirely happening by its own powers, and it's not caused by anything else other than its own self. It's just a process that naturally arises, and that is ultimately just the definition of what is natural. Now, artificial, the definition of artificial is that the generation and the process of an object was determined by something external other than the object. That the object was brought into being from some external source, which was able to generate it into existence. So there's an external source which brought about the existence of the thing, and that is what is called artificial. Derivative from the word art, obviously, and official, which is, it's not exactly that. It's not exactly art. It's definitely not just an expression of that individual's particular mood or state of being and mind. It takes on an antagonistic, or rather an antithetical response. Not negative, but an antithetical response, an inverse. If you say this, it says that. If you say A, it says B. You see? And this is the nature of AI. AI right now, existing in our computers is just a material, physical source which harnesses energy to allow this AI, this synthesis of organic and inorganic mind to operate. And just like the mind itself that you have in your organic brain, where neurons are firing and there's electrical currents and wavelengths, electrical discrete points of coming in and out of being. That's happening in computers to some degree, but it's happening in a more digital dimension, which is, you could say, is less fundamental than the organic, but it's not all that unknown. If you take the total scale of the universe and you measure what most material exists in the universe, first you would obviously say it's a gas, so it's already more ethereal and less concrete and structure as, for example, rock or solid or even liquid. The universe is mostly a gas, not even a liquid or a solid. Liquid and solid are only, we'll say, scarce resources and substances in the universe. In fact, they're very advanced form of these substances. Gas, just generally speaking, hydrogen. And if we say, well, okay, among all the rock, physical, solid, and liquid structures in the universe, what is the most common? The most common would be evident that underneath all planets, at least rocky planets, earthy planets, is that it is ultimately metallic substances. It's a metal. The universe is fundamentally more metal than anything else. Like meteorites, they're, you can say they're rocks. They look like rocks, but if you examine it closely, they ain't rocks. They're just solid form of gas, which is just a very concentrated, hardened form of stardust. You can say stardust is that, that we say everything is made from stardust.